Greetings and welcome back to Mental Health Monday. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So on today, we're going to be talking about self-care. Yes, everybody's talking about self-care. Your mom's talking about it, your aunt's talking about it, your uncle's talking about it, the employees at your job are talking about it, and the industry is talking about self-care. So on today, I wanted to talk to you about the origins of self-care. So over the last 2 years, since the pandemic, it seems that self-care has become the big thing. After being in for so long, we got the opportunity to kind of go inside, do an evaluation of our own, determine what makes us happy, what we like, what we don't like, working from home, becoming entrepreneurs, starting businesses, changing careers, finding yourself. And in that, self-care has become a very big industry. It is said that the self-care industry is now at about $10 billion yearly. So everybody's trying to get in on self-care. And a lot of that $10 billion is spent on things like cosmetics, clothes, candles, crystals, things of that nature. Anything that aids in our self-care. But do we really know where self-care started? Self-care is more than an aesthetic. It's more than a pleasing picture. It is more than what we are seeing on the internet today. Self-care has a very important history, and especially in the African American community. What a lot of people don't know, nor have taken time to research, is that the premises of self-care began in the Black community for the Black community. So, during the 60s and the 70s, the Black Panthers, yes people, the Black Panthers shine the light on self-care because the Black community was receiving very little in assistance to aid us in our nutrition and overall health. So, many of the prominent former Black Panthers started to or introduced self-care to the African American community so that we could begin to take better care of ourselves, so that we could be introduced to different types of exercise like yoga and stretching, so that they could bring things to the community so that we could learn about how to take care of ourselves. Because at that time, the healthcare industry had almost completely forgotten about the African American community. And what you hear a lot is that as we move forward, we do really, even though we tout community and coming together, community is different than it used to be in the 60s and the 70s. So to bring communities together, they would bring in doctors, they would bring in exercise and nutrition to the community to teach the African American community how to take care of itself. I think people always believed that self-care came from the medical community. Now, does the medical community play a large part in how self-care is presented? Yes, it does, because part of our self-care should be our mental health. It's my opinion that self-care is going in a direction that is not just positive, nor is it negative. I feel that a lot of self-care is not complete. There's not a totality to the way people look at self-care. So self-care should not just be candles or a bubble bath or going out to eat or those types of things. If we're going to really say that we are caring for ourselves, it needs to be 2 or even 3-fold. Self-care is incomplete if it is only one part. So if you're caring for yourself and you're not taking regular visits to your doctor to care about your health, are you really participating fully in self-care? It is easy to dress up the outside. It is easy to do things that are temporary fixes to long-term situations or problems. So if you are doing self-care because you have stress, and your self-care is only a temporary bandage or a temporary fix to what you've got to go back into the world after you get out of that bubble bath, or after you take that walk, or after you get out of that bath, then you need to be delving deeper into what you're doing. Self-care is mental health, nutrition, exercise, and body. It is an overall approach. There has to be an overall approach. Otherwise, it's not sufficient. Your self-care should be trifold or bifold. You should not just feel a temporary fix. It should be something that is ongoing to help you all the time. So, back to the community. Understanding where it came from, understanding that it's not just an aesthetic, and appreciating where it came from, and appreciating that it is not just an aesthetic. In order for you to see a change in your overall life with your self-care, you should really revisit what you're doing and why you're doing it. Get to the bottom of it. Find out, what are my stressors? When I do this self-care, is it because I'm stressed? Because you may do self-care just because you like it. You may do beautification or solo dates or girls trips and all those things and see those as self-care. But when you come back, are those things long-term benefits? Are you seeing the long-term benefits of your self-care? So some people are going to be upset at me. You might be mad, but I want you to look at your self-care regimen and determine if your self-care regimen is threefold. Is it helping your mental, your physical, and your spiritual? And if it is not, figure out what you're going to do in your self-care that is going to fulfill all of those needs. So again, let's have a discussion. I like a good discussion. In the comment section, tell me if your self-care is bifold or trifold, and if it's meeting your needs, or is it a temporary fix to a long-term problem or situation. Let's get this self-care together. Let's make sure that our self-care is beneficial and not just of a physical aspect, but that it is taking care of our physical, mental, and spiritual needs regularly. So again, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, because I want to know. I want to know what you all feel about self-care. I want to know if you think I am way off about self-care. I want to know if you have a community that is supportive of your self-care. Let's talk about it. See you next time. Bye.